Crime Intelligence of the South African Police Service. Paragraph 3, amongst the information, it was alleged that Secret Service funds were used to purchase resources for the political killings task team based in KwaZulu-Natal province. This task team was previously led by the current Divisional Commissioner of Crime Intelligence, Lieutenant Khumalo, who has close ties with the former Minister of Police, Mr. B.H. Cele. Paragraph 4, it is alleged that the resources procured under the banner of the task team were for the benefit of Mr. B.H. Cele and others. We know that our Section 27 doesn't even reference the PKTT at all.
I think you're right.
Remember, it's file 2, page 512.
His only reference is in paragraph 5, but it is a...
No, that's a reference to Minister Becky Cele.
Yes.
And that is regarding his appointment of General Khumalo.
Yes.
I'm particularly interested in reference to PKTT because he takes 2 paragraphs to deal with PKTT, draws in Mr. Cele and General Khumalo, and even points out that the General Khumalo he is referencing previously led the PKTT. So these are specifically PKTT-related allegations. Now, if one reads Section 27 affidavit as it stands, then short of lunacy for investigator Rapesu, Advocate Ramsamy, and Chief Perumal collectively to take a statement regarding PKTT, to call it a supplementary affidavit. If not that, then I don't know. Can you help?
Makes no sense.
Absolutely. You recall in the morning I asked how many Section 27 affidavits there were.
Correct.
And the witnesses that will testify who took these statements are going to testify that the original Section 27 affidavit had allegations, contained allegations against the PKTT, much perhaps which then makes sense why they take a specific A1 statement regarding PKTT. But we know that our Section 27 doesn't have any reference to PKTT at all. So I go back to my question, how many Section 27 affidavits are there?
The one I have is the 21st of November, 2024.
Okay, I invite us to rush ahead. Let's assume they come in the course of the week to say, no, that is not their Section 27. The real one had the PKTT reference. And if they are steadfast and they are able to persuade the commissioners in that regard, where do we all land? I appreciate you say you are only aware of one. Where do we all land?
That puts us in the same conundrum, commissioners, as where do we land with 3 people saying they were together? Then you have supplementaries to be taken. You have 4 supplementaries by one person, 4 by another, allegedly on the same day. And so if you land with a similar situation.
May I correct you on, and I appreciate the exercise you're undertaking. You've got 4 by one person, and you've got 4 by a team of 3. Because Rapesu and Ramsamy are going to say the 3 of us were together when Rapesu commissioned those statements. So on one hand, the 3 agree these are the statements we took. There is a lot about PKTT. the one lot taken by the one solitary member of that team.
Was not taken, there is the allegation that it was not taken on that day.
Indeed, that's the allegation, yeah.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
Yes.
That all happened on the same day.
And
I'm perhaps misunderstood because they were all dated the same day.
Yes.
Okay.
So the suggestion
then that is something that has to be dealt with, because what we cannot have is, it seems, almost parallel processes of investigation, and we cannot have parallel processes of investigation. We're supposed to have one Section 27. If it is inadequate, as I've indicated, Mr. Adams ought to have been engaged, which I believe he was, on the 6th of January 2025. If he was engaged as he was by all three, then we're supposed to have the 4 that Rapeso took, together with the FA1, which is attached in the Silverton docket. So if they say there is an additional 27, then it talks to how did these other supplementaries come about, still with the same date, and when did that 27 come about?
Let me correct you, and to the extent that you may have understood me to suggest that, I'm not suggesting there was an additional Section 27. Their testimony, as they have indicated they will testify, is that the Section 27 affidavit we have been sitting with here and working on is not the Section 27 affidavit. The Section 27 affidavit, and we agreed it has to be one, had references to the forklift patches and had direct reference to the PKTT, both of which are missing in our version. So I'm saying there appears to be 2 when there should be only 1, but it's not suggesting parallel processes. You can only have one process. These are members of IDEC, all of them, following the same Section 27. Now, where that potentially lands me is, are we confronted with a fraudulent Section 27? I'm thinking, and I pose that question, if not, how do we potentially explain these discrepancies?
Am I able to ask who took that 27?
I don't know. I promise you I wasn't there.
No, I'm saying in terms of what the witnesses might have provided, because this one that we have, commissioners, is the one that has come from that was done in Cape Town and I think commissioned by a Ms. Solomons. I'm not sure who would have taken that one. It's important for me to have sight of it if council allows. But I have also only this one.
But who commissioned it surely is not a relevant issue. The concern would be if there are 2, regardless of who commissioned either one. That's my concern. The potentiality that we may be actually dealing with 2. The second of which has not been disclosed to the Commission.
Okay.
That's a concern.
No, the point I might have clumsily been making was it would help to know if, much like these other supplementary statements, the same person who took them, other than the Rapeso and the team, is the one who took that Section 27, if there is, in fact, a 27.
But
and that would be the chief.
Do you understand the difficulty? If you look at the supplementary affidavit on 3493,
yes, sir.
It is dated 6 December 2025. These 3 people were together in Cape Town on that date. And the simple point Advocate Sillo is making is that on that date, as they were taking this supplementary affidavit, there was only one Section 27 affidavit. And it is not the one that is in our files. It is the one that made reference to PKTT and forklifts and other things.
Okay, so now I understand.
The one that we have in our files is not the one they were working on the 6th of January 2025. Now, if
Now I
that
understand.
is correct, then it means this section
Is a-
27 we are looking at was produced at a much later date and then backdated to 21 November 2024.
I understand, Commissioner.
Because if it existed on the 6th of December, then all three of them would have been looking at this one and not the one that they refer to in the clips.
Understood.
And that is
Now I
a serious
understand.
problem because
Yes.
it affects you as well. It raises this question. The section 27 you looked at in November or December 2024, which one was it? Was it this one that we are looking at or another one which has not been provided to us?
And this is the one that comes to mind.
Are you sure that in this, you said to ad hoc that the first time you saw a section 27 affidavit was sometime in December? You said middle December, then you corrected yourself and said before 6 December. Which affidavit did you look at in early December or mid-December? Was it this one or was there another affidavit that you looked at that made reference to PKTT? Are you now no longer sure which one it is?
No, I saw one. I'm
We now focusing
Positive.
on content,
Yes.
because an affidavit is an affidavit.
correct.
The one that you looked at in December, did it make a reference to PKTT and forklifts and other things?
Chair, I honestly,
Are you no longer sure which affidavit
I
you
cannot
looked at?
remember that I saw that, the forklift and the PKTT.
Say that again?
I cannot recall seeing forklift and PKTT.
But do you remember which affidavit you looked at in December 2024? Are you now no longer certain?
Now that you're putting it to me, I can't give you a definitive answer. I don't know which one I saw. This one is the most familiar. Let me put it that way. From having worked with the statement, this has always been the one that has been most familiar, and this is the date I recall.
Because it could be that even the one Mr. Rapezo is referring to also had the same date. So don't focus on the date. Let's talk about the content. What was in that affidavit? Did it make a reference to PKTT and forklifts and other things?
Apologies, Commissioner. I can't recall all that detail.
Thank you.
I do apologize. I can't recall all the detail.
No, if you can only give, an honest answer, if that's the honest
I
answer.
cannot
that's-
recall.
Yeah.
Perhaps,
Can I
Commissioner.
just ask? Ms. Johnson, does it mean your answer now, and you're not recalling, does it mean no one in your team ever said to you, but this is the wrong section 27? Back then, and when you went to ad hoc and came back, and as you are before us, and as Mr. Parayachi was testifying, does it mean of your entire team, there isn't a single person that said, hang on, we actually had a different section 27, what happened to that?
No, Commissioner.
No one has ever said
No.
that. Thank you.
I do recall what Mr. Padiachi said about when he had access. But I have no recollection of anyone telling me that I'm looking at the wrong document.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners. I recall, and I speak under correction, you did not have the Section 27 affidavit when you appeared before ad hoc. And I think members of Parliament engaged you on the Section 27 affidavit. And if memory serves me well, you parted company on the basis that you'll be providing the ad hoc committee with a copy. after you had concluded your testimony. Do I remember well?
I must just go back into the record. I do recall saying I will apply my mind on whether or not we can give them the Section 27. I must just go back. If I said we were going to give it to them, or did I say that we...
They asked you if it's a public document, and you said it's not a public document. And then they asked, can we have it? You said, I don't have it. I will revert.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Banda. But I know that we did not make it available. From what I recall, I know that we didn't make it available, Commissioner.
Why not?
Because it formed, sorry.
It was central to the ad hoc inquiry. And why didn't you avail it?
Because it formed part of our criminal investigations.
But you availed it to this commission. Still forms part of the very investigations. On what basis do you draw a distinction?
I understand. I see the work of this commission and its terms of reference somewhat different from the ad hoc committee. And here the rules are somewhat different, and not disclosing is not an option, but you are able to disclose, and perhaps, as we have been allowed in some instances, commissioners, to indicate that the disclosure is also made on the basis of confidentiality for certain reasons. This commission allows us that, and it is on the basis of it having been part of a criminal investigation and not wanting to give it to them.
Okay, we will look through the transcript to remind ourselves where you landed. I hadn't marked it because my understanding was that you had undertaken to provide a copy to ad hoc, but you say you had only undertaken to apply your mind to whether or not you can make same available. I'll have to check on that. I don't have a direct reference at the moment. So, once again, I invite us to accept as correct the facts as we understand them, and of course, subject to other facts coming to light to contradict what we know.
Ms. Silo, can I just
Yes.
ask a question? Sorry. You've explained the process, how it works. You say there will be, as in this case, there would have been Ms. Ramsame, Mr. Perumal, and Mr. Rapesu as a team, because no one consults alone with a witness, your methods of working. So they would have been together and they would have produced a single statement. Now, if what they say is true, that the only statements that were taken in the presence of all three and the witness are those commissioned
By Rapesu.
by Rapesu, it would mean, what does it mean about the standing of the statements that were taken by Mr. Perumal outside of your way of doing things, but also without the others? What would be their standing?
And it also raises a bigger conundrum, dated for the same date when he is supposed to have taken them with that team. So it raises its own legal and ethical challenges about why a separate set of statements needed to be taken. They went together for the purpose of taking the statements, and what did in fact happen is Advocate Ramsamy had made extensive notes out of the Section 27, and having read the inadequate, lack of A1s. So she had categorized the questions around groupings of matters to be looked at, aspects to be canvassed with Mr. Adams, so that when they went there, it was a structured approach. So the team should have followed that approach. And if either Mr. Rapeso or Chief Perumal felt that, wait, there's something else still to be dealt with on an aspect, it should have been dealt with all at the same time. If there was a need to, it should have been captured in one document and then commissioned, and then we move on to the next, and so on and so on.
Okay, let me put it this way to you. What I'm trying to get your comment on is, if the three of them together produced the supplementary statements, what has been labeled supplementary statements, the three of them, and then Mr. Perumal, Chief Perumal, behind their backs, because there's no better way of saying this, behind their backs he goes and he decides to write his own statement that he commissions without the other two knowing, and he gets Mr. Adams to depose. Let's assume for now that it is in fact Mr. Adams who deposes, who becomes a deponent. Because on these facts and the mess that has happened here, it seems to me it's not inconceivable that Mr. Adams could turn around and say, but I don't know anything about that, which you say Perumal signed, commissioned. If it turns out that Chief Perumal went and did his own thing, wherever and however, surely the official statement of IDEC would be that which was done by the three of them together and deposed to by Rapesu. Is that a fair?
It's a fair assessment.
It's a fair assessment and proposition to make, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now on that, if in fact, as we know it has happened in the Mukwele matter, if the docket that is before the court and that is disclosed to the accused, and that is the basis for the warrants that were obtained for instituting for the charges, it is in fact Perumal's questionable statements, not the ones that were properly taken. That would amount to. It seems to me that would have amounted to defeating the ends of justice, lying to the court, lying to you, misleading everyone that is involved with this, and failure to disclose the true contents of the docket. Am I correct in all of that? I'm assuming Perumals are in fact a manufactured statement that is being used.
Correct.
That would be correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Because
and that would undermine the prosecution itself, right? The entire prosecution, because it's based on A1 statements that are questionable, as in they've been made up by Chief Perumal, whether with or without Mr. Adams, but they're not an official record of the IDEC.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And before we look at what you stated to Parliament regarding providing this affidavit, let's look at how matters were dealt with concerning the contents of the affidavit. I'll invite you to page 554 of file 3. That is your transcript before ad hoc. And if we can take it, yes, Chair.
Including the file with the acts, which files must I put away? I have
Put
too
away.
many now in front of
Put
me.
everything
6,
away.
A total of 6.
Out of 9. It's 9 files by now. Please put everything away except file 3, Chair.
Thank you.
Except file 3.
3.
We won't need file 2.
No. I'm scared to commit. No, chances are we won't. If anything, but we don't have to go to it, I'll flight it. It is that supplementary affidavit regarding PKTT. Remember, commissioners, we are having this engagement about where the 3 investigators would have gotten any idea about PKTT enough to justify them obtaining a supplementary affidavit. So now we are at file 3. That's a transcript before the ad hoc. It's for the record CJC 375. And in particular, I would like us to go to page 555. And what appears at the top of 555, perhaps 554 is the right place to start, midway, where it says Advocate Johnson. You